Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. This is one of a series that I have called Waaay Out Wednesdays. And like the name implies, they come out every Wednesday. Today, we're going to be talking about spiritual protection. Actually, we're going to be talking about how you can make yourself spiritually bulletproof. Now, that sounds like a tall order. And honestly, it is a lot to do in a short video. It's going to try to go fast, but I would tell you that any number of the things that I'm going to discuss today, you can dive in deeper, do your own research, try everything that I suggest on for size. If it doesn't resonate with you, maybe it's not for you, right? It's always good to use discernment. And that is one of the things we're going to be talking about first. So discernment is super important with this type of work. Now, let's say, well, if you're watching this video, you have some interest in this, and you may have had some experiences, right? You may have heard your name called, or maybe you've had a dream that was precognizant, that actually became true, a premonition that came true. Or perhaps you had a knowing about something that has come true, and you're wondering about these types of things. And perhaps you've even had a situation where you felt like you could sense something dark or evil, and you didn't know how to get rid of it, or you didn't know what to do with it. So the very first thing that I need to teach you guys is discernment. When we're just now kind of getting used to our abilities, and we don't even know what that is. What are our abilities? What does this mean? All these types of questions that we have. This is where we run into the very first issue, which is about discerning what is good, what is bad. I am going to, for the sake of this video, just draw a line right down the middle and say there's good and there's bad. Okay? The thing you need to understand is your spirit guides and any energies that are of the light respect humans' free will. That's a really big statement that I made, because what that means is there's a lot of other energies that don't respect our free will. Now, in my experience, I've been contacted. Now, when I say contacted, I mean, maybe I heard something. Maybe I felt an urge that there was an energy that wanted to talk to me, right? Maybe when I was meditating, an energy showed up, or a being or an entity or an ET or any number of those things showed up. And I got this sense that it wanted to talk to me. Well, a lot of us are friendly people. And we think, well, what can it hurt, right? Let me just see what this thing wants. This is where I would say that you need to use extreme caution, because as I've already said, generally speaking, those in the light don't really contact us that much because they really honor our free will. So if something, some entity or some energy is making contact with you, more likely than not, it's either a bad energy or it's a neutral energy. And neutral could mean trickster, could mean just wants to check you out, doesn't want to hurt you, but just wants to check you out, right? I've told you guys before the story of my friend who meditates, and when she meditates, she goes up into the upper realms, and this entity showed up in her awareness and basically let her know that it wanted to make a swap, that it wanted to know what it was like to live in the human body and experience all the amazing things that we get to experience, like sadness and love and anger and happiness and food. In exchange, it would give her its amazing telepathic abilities and its psychic abilities and all these things that it has as a non-human. Fair swap, right? It didn't mean any harm to her. It simply was looking for someone to do a deal with, to do a swap with. She didn't sense anything untoward, anything negative. Now, she was free to contact her own spirit guides and say, hey, is this a good deal for me? What should I do? And I'll be honest with you and say that sometimes our spirit guides are like, yeah, you got free will, because they think this is a lesson. Maybe you need to learn this lesson. If you're asking the question, maybe you need to learn the lesson. She opted not to do that. And that entity just went away, left her alone. Now, I've had experiences that have been a little bit different, right? Where they've tried to get me, I can help you. I can help you. This is the message I get. Or, we need help. Please stand up and help us. Well, you need help. I'll help you. That's a ploy. This is how I ended up really getting involved with these trickster energies that took me a whole year to get rid of. Okay? You accidentally give permission because you're not discerning who's of the light and who isn't of the light. You're just assuming that if this energy shows up and doesn't feel bad to you, that it must be good. So we really, as humans, we really need to sharpen our intuition and our discernment. And there's many ways to do that. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is that if something comes and says, you need my help or I need your help, it's not your spirit guides. They don't need your help. And if you need their help, they already know about it. They're not going to ask you, Susan, do you need help finding that parking space? Susan, do you need help doing your taxes? Susan, do you need help getting out of that relationship? They're not going to ask you that. These are all lessons that humans signed up to get. They're not going to run around helicopter momming humans. So there's your first clue right there. So discernment is really important. You can take a deep dive from here and learn everything you want about discernment. I'm going to move on to permission. This is another way in which humans, I find, get into a lot of trouble. They mistake the energy. They don't discern correctly the energy. They end up saying, yeah, I'm going to help. I'll help. Count me in. I want to help. Well, now you've given permission, right? That's a problem. Now, if you find, regardless of whether you've given permission or not, what I would suggest that you do is revoke any permissions that you've given. You don't have to give your spirit guides permission. They got permission from you in your soul contract before you even popped into that baby. You don't need to give them permission. You can give them permission to help you with things that are not a part of your soul path. I often ask for spirit guides to come help me with my taxes. Some people use them to help them find parking spaces, and this is perfectly fine. There's a whole squadron of what I call helper guides, helper spirit guides that are ready to help, that want to help. If you contact a helper guide and you say, I need help doing this task, remodeling my kitchen, helping me parent, helping me figure out my relationship, whatever it is, doesn't matter. They will come in and help. In that way, you're asking for help and you're giving permission. But that's very specific. You're specifically saying, I'd like my spirit guides to help me with this. Okay? So when you revoke permissions, what I do is I say, I'm revoking any permissions that I've given to anyone or any energy, any life form that does not have my highest good in their energy. If you don't have my highest good in your energy, I'm revoking permissions. I'm not going to be working with you. I'm not going to be connected to you. I'm cutting the energy connection. So that's one thing you can do. Now, all of this depends on your intention. The most important thing that I'm going to talk about is our intention. And it all wraps in with discernment and with permission. because humans don't realize that they have free will. Now, I know that sounds crazy, right? Because you just decided what you were going to eat for lunch or for dinner. But when it comes to things that terrify us, like an ET or an orb or a ghost or whatever it is that you saw, could be anything, or you experienced or you felt, all of a sudden, our fear immobilizes us and we don't know any better. We simply just don't know any better. So now I'm telling you that there turns out to be a universal law. And I mean universal realms that humans have free will. And that these entities aren't supposed to be abusing our free will. That is against universal law. Now, unfortunately, there's just not enough universal law police to go around to protect us. So we've got to protect ourselves. So what we say is, if you have contact with some energy, you have a feeling of the energy, you have a knowing of the energy, you can see the energy, you can hear the energy. However it is that you're getting in contact with this energy, you can say to this energy, I know that you know that if I tell you to leave me alone, that you have to do it because I have free will. I know that you know. I'm telling them, I know that you know that you have to abide by my free will choice. Now, why is that important? Because if you just say, go away, they're not going to go away. Leave me alone. They're not going to leave you alone. Sure, you can call in Archangel Michael, who is an archangel and an archangel that's a free agent. Archangel works for everybody. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Archangel Michael will come in and assist you. However, in my experience, it really only works once or twice because we're asking someone else to fix a problem that we have to fix. I know this from personal experience because I asked my spirit guides, how can you help me? Can someone help me? I begged for help. My spirit guides told me, it's you. You're the one with the problem. You're the one causing the problem. We can't fix it because you're causing the problem, which was extremely frustrating. But I finally figured it out. When humans, so many times, either like we said, you're astroplaning at night, you don't know about it, and you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, and all of a sudden you're giving them permission. Or, right, they want to say that we have a vibration. I have a vibration, my own unique vibration. My unique vibration is emitting a vibratory communication of prey or of victim, of fear. Because honestly, I've had issues with ETs from when I was a child. I'm afraid of them because of my experience. Therefore, I have the vibratory, energetic signature of being afraid. That makes me a victim. That makes me a target. I am a target. I am in resonance with what they're looking for. If you're afraid of any of these things, you're literally drawing them to you. And the problem is, you really just can't snap your fingers and not be afraid anymore, because that stuff was real. The stuff that happened to us scared the bedevil out of us. So it's very hard to just get over it and say, I'm not afraid of that anymore. So that's That's a process that you have to go through. So the way you start is by taking the very first step is raising your vibration. Because a fear vibration is down here and a joy vibration is up here. And when you're in a joy vibration or a happy vibration, you're not in resonance with them anymore. They're down here in fear. Right? So we need to deal with the things we're afraid of, because those things are coming back in our lives over and over and over again to give us another opportunity to get over it and move on, learn the lesson and move on. So in this case, what I've discovered is doing everything you can to raise your vibration will help. That is something, it's an inside job, folks, and that will help. Working through your fears. If you have fears around ETs or ghosts or seeing dead people, talk about it to yourself. Speak it out loud. Because when we are hiding this stuff deep inside our psyche, that's the problem. Consciously, we're not aware. Consciously, there's no problem. What's the problem? That's why I couldn't find the problem. It was hidden in my deep unconscious, in my deep subconscious, where I thought I had boarded it up and stuck it in a padlocked box to never, ever, ever, see the light of day. But that doesn't work, because these things have the key to the padlock, because they're in resonance with it. So if you take that padlock box and bring it out into the sunshine and put it in front of you and say, I saw this, I experienced this, I'm looking at it in the light of day, and I'm going to move past that fear, because I know that I have free will, and I know that they didn't kill me, right? Think about it rationally. Yes, it happened. What's the worst thing that happened is I got afraid. Okay. Well, is there anything to be afraid of? Did they do anything to me? Did they hurt me? They scared me. How do I get over that fear? How do I let that go? How do I move past that? Once you are not the victim anymore, they don't want anything to do with you. You're no fun to play with. It's just like the cat with the grasshopper. At some point, it's not any fun, and cat moves on. It's very similar to narcissistic energy. Narcissists find their supply. They find the person who fits with them energetically. Narcissists don't get with other narcissists, right? They find the lid for their pot. Same thing here. These energies, these entities are finding the lid for the pot. And you happen to be vibrationally matched because of your fear. It's the same thing. If someone were to throw a hex at you or a curse at you, if you're afraid of curses and hexes, it's probably going to land. If you've never heard of a curse or a hex and you don't believe in any of that, it's not going to land. It's not going to land because you don't believe in it. You didn't give any power to it. Can you guys see some similarities in manifesting? When you say, I'm never going to have anything, I'm never going to have anything, my jobs never work out, my love life is terrible, I'm never, never. What are you doing? Matching the vibration to never, never, never. You're going to get a whole bunch more of that. And you wonder why you've been getting it? Because you keep saying, I'm never going to get it. So the universe is like, oh, she wants some more of that. She didn't learn her lesson. Let's give her some more opportunities to learn her lesson. It's all the same. It's universal law. If you're putting out, if you go deep into your psyche, shine some sunlight in there and put a lot of love in there. You love yourself, you value yourself, you're raising your vibration. You're just not going to be a match for the bad energies of the bad people. You're not going to be a victim. You're not going to be prey. And honestly, I never saw myself as a victim or a prey. I probably really more resonate with a warrior, right? But yet when I did some deep diving into my psyche to figure out just what the hell was going on, I saw myself as a rabbit. And when I said, why am I a rabbit? I'm prey. Bingo. Bingo. If I think in my deepest psyche that I am a victim, that I am prey, then I'm going to be prey. Believe me, every bad energy and bad person is going to be attracted to me like a moth to the porch light. But we don't know why, because it's buried inside there. So a really good book to read about this, if you really serious, you want to get, like I was, like, I've got to get on the other side of this because this is the worst thing I've ever been through. Dark Side of the Light Chasers. Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. She will teach you, there's exercises in there on how to go deep inside, figure out what your shadow is. We all have a shadow. None of us is a saint. Not any of us are a saint. We've all got some shadow. When you dive inside there and figure out what your shadow is and make peace with it, nobody else can use it against you. That's power. That's standing in your power. That's becoming spiritually bulletproof. Now, you might be asking, well, can't I use sage? Can't I use Palo Santo? Can't I do this? Holy water. Can't I do these things, right? Well, yeah, you can. Everything that you use, crystals, everything that you use is only as strong as your intention. Is my intention to write with this pen? Then yes, it's a pen. Is my intention to, bang on something? Then it's a drumstick. What is your intention? Is my intention to use this to help me? Okay, then that sets my intention. If you have a crystal, I want you to hold it and put it on your heart and ask it, can you protect me? Yes or no? And you're going to say the very first thing that comes to your mind. Because this might not be the energy of protection. You might say, give me one word with how you will help me. Peace. Okay, this crystal is going to give me peace. This crystal, will you protect me? No. What will you do for me? Grounding. This is going to ground me. You can do the same thing. So now you're working in tandem. Your intention matches the intention of the crystal. We know the person that made this intended it to be an ink pen, right? So yes, you can use crystals. It's all about your intention. If you use a crystal and you say, protect me, protect me, protect me, but yet buried inside of your psyche is, I'm prey, this isn't going to save you. My computer agrees. Now, one of the things that I think is really powerful is sound. I think that sound disturbs energy better than anything. I think that this is more of a subtle energy, unless you are one of those people that particularly connects with crystals. If you're one of these people that really connects with crystals, that's a more powerful tool. If you're not, using something like this is just a singing bowl, or I'm connected to spirit, so I can't tell you what, Tibetan bowl. So I just sometimes just use this. You can imagine that any energy is around me is getting buffeted by that vibration. Now that I've got their attention, I say any energies that don't have my highest good must leave. Why? Because I have free will, and I know that if I tell you to leave, you have to leave. Then I go through the entire house or office or whatever it is, and I hit that bowl, and I say the same thing. You want to repeat this in every space, in the closets, in the attics, in the basement, wherever you have, even under your sink. These energies like water. So you really want to clear all of the space. Now, if you've watched me before, you would also remember that I'm really fond of taking a big pot and a wooden spoon and banging it and doing the same thing. Because when I bang that pot, I'm sending a vibration out, and I'm getting everybody's attention. Believe me. And then once I have their attention, I'm telling them what I want them to do. Leave. And I'm sure to tell them that I have free will, it's universal law. And if I tell you to leave, you have to leave. Now, if you don't believe it, they're not going to leave, because they know what your energy, you can say whatever. I can say that I'm, Donald Duck, but they're like, no, that's Susan. I can see your energy. So you have to get to this point where you believe it. That takes some time and some effort, right? Raising your vibration, working with the light, meditate, call on the light, work with the light. If you want to work with an entity, if you want to channel or you want to get in touch with your spirit guides, do that. Don't just answer any phone call, any metaphysical or energetic phone call that happens to come your way. I don't agree with organized religion whatsoever, but it is interesting that they would pray over their food, right? And science now proves that saying nice things to water changes it. They also pray before they go to bed. Why is that? Okay, so think of it as blessings. Get into some spiritual hygiene every day. Ask for blessings. Know that you are blessed. So instead of asking, and I shouldn't have said that, because that's lack. We don't want to be in lack. We want to say, I am blessed. Thank you for my blessings. And then if you really want to goose the energy, count your blessings. Thank you for these blessings. I'm blessed today with this house. I'm blessed today with my health. I'm blessed today with this breakfast that I'm about to eat. I'm blessed today with the money in my bank account. I'm blessed today with my family. Now, what if your bank account is low? Well, you're going to say, I'm blessed with the money that I have, because we draw attention to what we want, not with what we don't want. We always want to talk about what we have, what we're grateful for. That puts us in the light. And if you'll do this every day, you'll build your light. And that light will slowly change whatever is buried on the inside. Which most often, what's buried on the inside is, unfortunately, bad things about us. I'm too old. I'm too dumb. I wish I would have done this with my life. I don't like my relationship. I don't like me. Whatever it is, right? most of us are outside of our body. We're not even in our body. Do we look at ourselves full length in the mirror when we get ready? We just treat this as some vehicle that gets us through the day. But there's a soul in here. There's a heart in here. And when we're not in our body, when we're outside of our body, this is like a vacant house, a really nice vacant house that energies can come in and attach to. Let me tell you, they know how precious and important a soul is. So they're happy to come in here and attach to you. Place is empty. Nobody's here. I'll take it. So an important task is to really take some steps to reintegrate yourself. Why are you not in your body? Because I don't like this, because I don't like that, because I don't want to face this. I don't want to own up to that. I'd rather just not look. Well, while you're not looking, those energies are taking advantage. So really and truly, that's also being a victim because you're not in your power. So a really important step is to get in touch with your shadow side. Why don't I want to be in my body? Okay, whatever. Let's just say I feel heavy. I feel too fat. Okay. Well, let's climb in this too fat body and let's love it anyway. Let's feel like we're in our body. Feel the extra weight. Be compassionate for yourself. Love yourself. Be gentle with yourself. If you're in your body and you're loving your body and you're loving your soul and you're loving yourself, and you do that for enough time, these attachments, attacks, queries just will stop happening so much. And then pretty soon you're spiritually bulletproof because you don't match their vibration of fear, of sadness, of loathing. Now, even if you're ill, even if you're sick, you want to be in your body. Because that's how we heal ourselves. We heal ourselves by being in our body, not by being outside of it, complaining about it or being sad about it. That doesn't help us. Climb inside, reintegrate, and say, oh my gosh, let me send some love to this part of my body that's experiencing illness. This is really how you become spiritually bulletproof. Sure, there's lots of tools and there's lots of help. But in my experience, whatever the problem is, if it keeps coming back, then the problem is in here. It's not something that an external person can help you with. If you have the odd ghost in your house or the odd thing happen, potentially somebody can remove that and you won't have another problem. But if you're having recurring problems, this is where the problem is. And finding it, digging deep, getting in there, figuring out where your fears are, where your limitations are, where your sadness is. That's the key. So hopefully this has been helpful for you and you learned some things about how to become spiritually bulletproof. Let me know in the comments what you think and take really good care of yourself. I'll see you again right here on the next Way Out Wednesday.